Hey guys, so today I'm going to talk about heating issues on a motorcycle. In this case, it's the Burgman. So I got this bike not long ago and it only had 600 kilometers on the clock. And as you guys are all aware that you can't get a Burgman anymore because Suzuki stopped making it. So as soon as I saw this ad, I jumped on it and bought the bike sight unseen, and that was a mistake because not only this bike was sitting in a shed for about 10 years, this is a 2013 model, but it lacked maintenance at all. So when I got the bike started to overheat and I just could not figure out what was going on. So I stripped the bike down. As you can see, all the fairings are sitting here. And this is the radiator shield, the front shield. So I have shown in my other video how to remove the bodywork. And as you can see, everything is accessible now. And this makes the maintenance of the Burgman very, very easy. If you know how to remove this, the fairings, you can take it, you can ride it. I've been riding this bike for about a month now in this condition because I don't have to go very far for work. So I'm just riding it as is, and then meanwhile troubleshooting all its issues. So this bike was overheating. So the first thing I did, or the first thing anyone should do, is check the thermostat. Now, how do you know if the thermostat is working or not working? Now, there's a test that you can do where you can remove the thermostat, which is very easy. So you just undo this clamp, undo this clamp, pull it out. There's two screws, and the thermostat comes out. I've made a video on how to remove the thermostat, so I'm not going to talk about that again. But when the bike is hot, if you touch the outlet of the thermostat, so this is the outlet, and you will see that both these pipes are hot. That means the thermostat is working. But if the outlet is not hot, then you know that the thermostat is damaged and you need to change it. Alternatively, you can also remove the thermostat and boil it in water. Keep it in boiling water for about 3 minutes and it opens up. If it's a good thermostat, if it's a bad thermostat, it will remain closed. So there's other videos which show how to boil the thermostat and check it. So you can check the other videos. So if your bike is overheating, the number one thing you can do is check the radiator. Now the Burgman's radiator is right in the front. Any other motorcycle, you will have it in a similar position. Now, what do I mean by check the radiator? So what you need to do is you need to touch the radiator and see if it gets hot. If it's not getting hot, that means your coolant is not circulating in it. So what you can do is you can take the radiator out. It's very easy to do that. So there's just a few screws and you can undo a few clamps. So you don't have to remove this one because it's kind of inaccessible. So remove this clamp and remove this clamp and this one down here, and just undo the screws. The radiator comes out very, very easily. And hose it down. So hose it down, put the hose on top of the radiator cap and see if everything, if the water flows freely and everything is coming out. Alternatively, you can also use a chemical flush, but if your radiator is not working, the chemical flush will do no good. So the other thing you want to check is if your radiator fan, which is located here for this one, as you can see. And let me see if I can show you. So it's behind the radiator. It's kind of hard to see, but if you open the bike up, you should be able to see it. And check if your radiator fan is turning on. Now, why is that important? The thing is if your radiator fan is not working, that means it's not creating suction in the radiator for the fluid to circulate. So that's number two. So check your radiator first, see if it's clogged, see if there's any rust inside it. You can do that by either using a chemical flush, or you can just put a hose on top of the radiator cap and just run full speed and see if there's any gunk or any rust that comes out. And alternatively, you can also put the hose at the bottom outlet and turn the radiator upside down once it's removed, of course, and flush it down and see. So in this case, the radiator was good. So my next step was to change the thermostat. So a mechanic taught me how to inspect the thermostat. Like I said before, you check after the bike is hot if these outlet pipes become hot, the hose. If it doesn't, that means you have a faulty thermostat. So if your radiator is turning on, it's turning hot, the radiator fan is turning on, but you can't feel the temperature in the hoses here connecting the thermostat, that means your thermostat is dead. So you need to change the thermostat. Very easy. Remove this, 2 screws, out goes, and the jiggle valve goes on top. I have another video, you can check that out. So that's that. So number 3 is the water pump. Now you got to check if your water pump is working fine. If it's not, it will make some horrible noises. If you don't know how to do it, if you've done the 2-step troubleshooting with the radiator and thermostat, and if your bike is still getting hot, take it to a mechanic. If you remove all the fairings, it will be very cheap to get things done, because the most amount of time for working on a Burgman, as any mechanic will tell you, is removing the fairings. It's a pain in the ass, it takes a lot of time, but if you see my other videos on how to remove it, the direction of these tabs, and just pay attention, just be gentle with it, don't break it, and you should be good. So if you remove the fairings, you can still ride the scooter like this to your mechanic or wherever you want to go. The third part is your coolant temperature sensor, which is located right here. So this cap sits on top. As you can see, it's right in the middle. There's only one part which goes on top here. There's no others. And it sits on top of the cylinders, not the cylinders, but the engine block. And you just press it here and out it goes. And kind of looks like this. So this is your coolant temperature sensor, and you got to use a wrench to take it out, and you just replace it. So I've got a new part sitting here. So I will be replacing this one. So this is a brand new one, so I'll be replacing that one. Now when you do replace this, make sure that you put a little bit of gasket maker around here at the bottom, so that way it doesn't leak. Come on, here you go. So just put a bit of gasket maker around it and then hand tighten it for the first hour. So we're going to remove this and then put a new one in with the gasket maker underneath it, and then we're just going to hand tighten it just by hand until the silicone dries. And then once it's dry, the manufacturer says 1 hour, but I'll just leave it overnight, and the next day then you can tighten it to the torque specifications and you replace that. So my radiator fan was not turning on because of this faulty coolant temperature sensor. That's what my mechanic told me. My mechanic is extremely busy. He diagnosed the problem and he said to me, "You're smart enough, you can do it yourself." Didn't charge me a cent and let me go. He's got a lot of work, so He is not after money. And yeah, he was happy to give useful advice. So I'm going to change this. So I'm not going to make a video for this because it's very straightforward. As you can see, you just use the right socket wrench, right size, and remove it. Put the new one on with the gasket maker. Just hand tighten it for overnight. Next day, come back again and tighten it to torque specifications. I will put in the comment section, in the description, in the video description, what the torque specifications are according to the manual, and then you can do that. Okay, so diagnose your problem, why your bike is heating up. It could be either the radiator, it could be the water pump, it could be the thermostat, or it could be your coolant temperature sensor, which is not giving signal for your fan to turn on. If your fan doesn't turn on, it doesn't create the suction, it doesn't circulate the fluid, the coolant in the radiator, and your bike gets hot. So I hope this video helps you. If it does, I've never asked until now, but please subscribe and like the video.